Oasis.
My name is Tola. I'm the proprietress of Morainbow Down Foundation, and we are involved with creating an enabling environment for babies, children, young adults living with Down syndrome, and we are we're very passionate about early intervention for the babies, and so we have various strategies which we've mapped out to help support developments for them, various child-centered activities too that, will be able to identify their strengths and, their skills and help them develop and hone those skills. And of course, we're not excluding education. We are, also trying to find a way to integrate them into the society by helping them live independent lives as well. So we're focusing on skill acquisition and independence at the end of the day for them to have a good and normal life. Well, I remember it so well, it's like a flashbulb memory. Like, even if you ask me 20, 30, 100 years after, I remember how I felt so disappointed, angry, sad, and after my daughter was diagnosed with Down syndrome, 5 days after delivery, and I was like, why me? And it brought a lot of heartbreaks. Like, my husband, everybody in the family were wondering, oh, how could this be? How did this happen? And from there we moved on. It was a lot of struggle. I can't even imagine the day she was diagnosed with a heart disease, and I had to, I don't want to go into details, but it was crazy. When you say the moments were very, very crazy, filled with a lot of stigma as well. For people around did not understand what I was dealing with then, and people saying stuff like, oh, we were doing frequent visits to the hospital then. You hear people thinking that, oh, you must have done something wrong to have this child. And so a message came to me saying they have a message for me that I needed to pray to God for forgiveness, that, like it wasn't okay for me to have a baby and the baby, so they thought the baby was just sick, unusually sick, and I was frequenting hospitals, and I was kind of shocked because I just felt already that people were stigmatizing already, and people asked so many questions like, oh, why is she so tiny? Oh, why does she have those eyes? Why does, why this, why that, and blah, blah, blah. And so, of course, I'd been exposed to a child in the US 7 years before I had my daughter. So, so it wasn't my first time seeing a child with Down syndrome and loving one with Down syndrome. And so, yeah, I was just, I didn't know immediately that I could educate people around me. I didn't know immediately. All I was fighting for was for my daughter to have a good life, like to be free from all those medical issues and everything. And I saw a few times some people moved away from us, like maybe when we were seated in the public place, people would move away from us and change their seats. And even in the hospital, people didn't want to sit near us. It was that bad. Back to the stigma. Around me, I realized a lot of people didn't want to talk about, they didn't want to talk about my baby, even though I just had the baby, like they didn't want to talk about my baby. Oh, how's she doing? They just wanted, because she was so small, and it was obvious like there was something because of her facial almond shaped eyes, and so a lot of people didn't want to carry her. But for me, it was like time stopped, and I was so apart from the fact that I was angry, I was so like like time stopped for me. Everything about my life just stopped. And, having people ask questions like, why is her head small? Why are the eyes like that? Got me more depressed. Then moving into public places with her, a baby of 8 months will be like, oh, are you still wrapping your child? Are you still, is she not sitting down? Is she not walking yet? Is she this, that, blah, and all of that. And I didn't have to stay in denial for too long, because I had been exposed to a child like that in the US, and I saw that life, was being given, like, to this child, like, how would I put that, like, a chance was being given to the child. And so I just made up my mind that I was going to face this. It was going to be all about my child, and I was going to, like, help her, support her from the beginning. And that was how I got exposed to early intervention. When she was 2 months old, I began all the stimulation, all the swaddling, and everything I needed to do. It was tough, but whatever the disability or diagnosis may be, or prognosis or whatever, I believe strongly that early intervention is the best way, to look, for you to be able to, help the child to live, like, attain independence, to be able to catch up with a milestone, with his milestones, Yeah, they're going to be delayed, because I hear a lot of people say, there's no need, don't disturb the child. When the child is ready to walk, the child's going to walk. But really, that's not what early intervention is saying. Early intervention is saying that you know that there is a challenge, and you're trying to, like, support. So it's just like you supporting the child, And most of those things are just done, by the adult. It's not about the adult, like, you're doing this for yourself. You're doing this for the child to benefit, because it's going to, like, help the child to understand that, okay, this is the way I should do things, instead of leaving the child to develop compensatory measures or ways of, having to crawl, or the child is not even going to be able to crawl without you trying to help the child to be on his or her fours and try to facilitate. So that's what early intervention is all about. And the 0 to 3 years are very crucial for this to take place, and it has to be back to back. It's very, very important. For it to be back to back, there has to be a lot of repetitions, a lot of reinforcements and rewards, and for you to keep the child going and to keep the child learning also, because the environment is supposed to be the third teacher. And you should also understand that the child has been born and is already in that environment, so you cannot continue to cry over it. I say it's okay to cry, but while you're crying, you need to do what you need to do at the right time, and it is from birth. I know it's twice as hard. I know that in the beginning it's tough. It could be tough. I know that you sometimes you cannot deal with all the medical issues, or the the emotional what's it called now, emotional trauma, the deep social biases, societal stigmatization, all of those things. You have to deal with it. Yes, you have to deal with it, right? But it's okay, it's fine. So you as a parent must be ready to fight for your child and advocate for that child, with that child. Why am I saying this? Because, they're a human being first. I just want you to know that your child is a human being first before the diagnosis. And what do you do with a human being? Do you stigmatize? Do you wish the human being was not born? No. Your child, for that matter, no. So for parents, I know, like I said, that in the beginning it might be tough, it might be hard, but I just want parents to know that your child is your child any day, no matter what, and you must be ready to do everything possible, your best, to be able to help your child live a normal life. I think I got extra lenses, like, to be able to see the other side of life. Like, seriously, the biggest thing I've learned so far is to love unconditionally. God has put this child to come to my life for me to be able to understand the meaning of patience, to be able to understand how to love, like equally, like, a human being is the best thing that has happened to me, and I think, yes, I can say that, yeah, my life changed, but really, it's not really about me. It's not about me. It's about me giving a chance to a child that's come my way to live.
Simone's Oasis.